You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
And now, broadcasting live from deep within the borders of occupied liberal territory known as California, Luca-Zanna with love, guns, and freedom.
All systems go.
Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes.
Hi everybody, this is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. Today, live here from the radio in California, KTOX. Why? First of all, once in a while I really enjoy to come and to have the adrenaline rush to cross the river from Arizona going to California. I feel like almost I am in some special operation behind enemy lines. But beside that, today I have a very important guest, the first hour, that I wanted to really have him live here on the show. Because, don't get me wrong, I love when we record the interviews and all these things. But sometimes there is still some magic. I really believe that coming live in the broadcasting studio here and have the feedback also of the people, listeners, I think is something irreplaceable. So I wanted to have him with me live. And it's going to be a very interesting show because it's going to be a show about celebrating. I will celebrate life and also love, of course, and the opportunity to have found each other because we need to find each other in these very perilous times, tyrannical times. Sometimes it's very easy to get depressed and tired and stressed. When we find people that we have like-minded heart and minds and souls, I think it's something priceless. So I want really to have with me today a man that inspired me a lot, and he still keeps inspiring me. And it was almost close to a death experience just a few weeks ago. So I would like to have him with me. And here we are, 1 second only, because today is going to be, I think, very, very important for all of us. We have a lot of things to share, a lot of information. Michael Badnarik, are you there with me?
Yes, I am. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you very much, Michael. Since the last time I had you a few months ago, when I was at the beginning of my broadcasting experience, I told you already, I was lucky enough during my journey here in America to have found some of your material, reading some of your books. The first book I read was Good to Be Kings. And more important, I had this Constitution class that even before I became an American, I was able to stumble on it. And I always felt something like a sense of peace and happiness when in the moments of completely this sort of distraction and madness that you see all these crazy things going around, listening to your words and learning from your experience, it gave me a lot of joy, I must tell you. So that's why I'm really happy that I met you, even we never really met in person. I'm happy that I met you in my journey here in America as a new American.
Well, thank you. I'd like to inspire people. I never anticipated that I'd be lucky enough to bring joy to somebody, but once you understand the truth, it does somehow stabilize your life. You can't solve a problem unless you understand it. And we have big problems in the United States that we can all get focused on, and as you say, we get depressed. And it is a joyful feeling to realize that other people feel the same way. And although we've never met face-to-face yet, I do feel that we are kindred spirits.
Yes, let me tell you my happy recipe for when I get tired at night and I get kind of overwhelmed listening to zombies and people that don't get it. So what I do, I put YouTube. You have incredible Constitution class that also you can find on YouTube by Michael Badnarik. I put that very loud in my house, and then I have my glass of wine close to me, and then I clean my rifles. This is my ideal night. It really gets me inspired and relaxes me. So that's my therapy moment with you, cleaning my rifles and drinking wine. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, everybody knows you, but I would like to remind to the new listeners who you are. You are a man, of course, and also you have been a fighter for the struggle of freedom against tyranny. Tell us a little bit about your background, what you've been doing politically, and all the things that people deserve to know. Go ahead, please.
Many, many years ago, I realized that my federal, state, and FICA taxes totaled up to 48%. Basically, the government was taking half of everything that I paid. And I started to, study the IRS, study the 16th Amendment, and I realized very quickly that most of what the government does is unconstitutional. And one by one, I started to meet people who, were upset about different things, and I just gradually became more and more active. It was almost an accident that I ran for president of the United States. The high-tech computer market crashed in Austin, Texas. I kind of lost my job. I was working as a telemarketer, and a couple friends of mine said, we want you to run for president. I said, president of what?
Oh, my gosh.
And they said, president of the United States, and I thought they were kidding.
Mm-hmm.
But they eventually convinced me to do a road trip teaching people about the Constitution, shaking hands with other patriots, and really bringing people together. My journey kind of went through a congressional campaign. I did a 2-year radio program on the Internet, and the job has become a lot harder. For the last 3 years, unfortunately, I've been in northwest Indiana, just about 10 miles from Chicago, and I am the caregiver for my mom and dad. And, they were gradually deteriorating when I first got here, and they need most of my help. So unfortunately, I haven't had time to be a significant part of the liberty movement. But as soon as my parents no longer need me, I will return to Texas and start teaching my classes and really start to amp up my liberty game.
Perfect. I agree. Family comes first. In my own level of things, I believe family always is the nucleus, is the starting point, the cell point of our nation. So, yes, I'm glad you're taking care of your parents and taking care of yourself, because also I know that you went through some physical hardship, and just several times, but especially the last few months, I read that you were pretty ill and sick. What happened to you?
To me, it's a little embarrassing. I mean, it's pretty standard, but I used to be a scuba instructor, and I used to scuba dive with sharks.
Wow.
With no problem. I mean, sharks are not that smart, and as long as you don't act like a dying fish, they're not likely to attack you while you're underwater. I've been a skydiving instructor, jumping out of perfectly good airplanes, and I do these things completely relaxed. I just have lived my life without stress. And unfortunately, being at home, taking care of my parents, they have just a lot of needs, and demands. Pour me a cup of coffee, bring me my glasses. I can't find a television remote. It's a little bit like being a small target in a shooting gallery. I have no time for myself, and unfortunately, I allowed the stress level to creep up. My blood pressure got up to 170 over 140.
Wow.
Which is clearly not healthy. And I have always imagined myself as a very youthful superhero. If the world is coming apart at the seams, I'm the guy that's going to hold it together. In order to do that, you have to kind of ignore the fact that fundamentally you are human. and unfortunately my human limitations caught up with my imaginations about what I'm capable of doing, and I had a small heart attack. I didn't have any chest pain at all, but they test your blood and they can find enzymes in your blood which indicates that your heart had a problem. So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks because, well, primarily I was just dedicating myself to taking care of Mom and Dad.
And I remember, Michael, that a few months ago, maybe a couple of years ago, I'm not sure, but anyway, previously you had another pretty much close to death experience. I mean, you were pretty sick, right?
I was feeling very well. I went to Wisconsin to give a speech in favor of raw milk, unpasteurized milk.
Yes.
And the next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital after I had been in a chemically induced coma for 16 days. I was in the hospital for about a month and a half. The doctors told my parents that I may not live, and that if I did live, I would probably use a walker the rest of my life.
Yes.
But doctors have no way to measure stubborn. It's kind of like off the medical charts, and I was able to walk out of the hospital, much to my doctor's surprise, and, I've been pretty much normal up until just a couple weeks ago.
And that's exactly today the reason why I really wanted to bring you back, because I believe, sometimes we forget the dimension that we are. Of course, is an important thing. We are fighting physical battles and struggles that I believe they are connected to some spiritual higher plans. But at the same time, we need to put everything in perspective. And the fact that any one of us, it's a reminder that we are just humans. And we are here at this moment, but next moment we may leave this physical body and we may be gone in another place. If you believe in another place, I do. And that's why I'm very happy to be with you today, to celebrate your life, to celebrate your struggles, our struggles together, and with our listeners, like-minded people. And even if they don't agree with us, I don't care. The idea that we can have still this opportunity, it's a right, it's not an opportunity to express through this broadcasting and webcasting our First Amendment. And today I'm going to go straight to the point. I'm pretty much, as much as I try to keep it calm, I drank a cup of chamomile today before I left the house, coming to the studio. Normally I drink coffee in the morning. But today, for the respect of the station and, of course, FCC compliance and rules, I must keep my lingo and my dictionary at place, okay? I'm extremely irate as a human being and as an American. And this is something that many people may laugh at me, but I think it's very serious. Let me tell you what happened, Mike, talking about healthcare. I've been in this country since 1998, and the first thing I did, even when I was broke, I was able to somehow find a way to pay for my little health insurance. Recently, my last plan that I had through Humana was about $160, and went up pretty much the last few years, don't get me wrong. It was just some sort of a basic plan, nothing fancy, but in case I break a leg or something serious, I don't need to sell my house. With the new Obamacare, or Affordable Care Act, I got a letter in the mail, like many millions of Americans did, and the reality was that we already knew that this Affordable Care Act, it is not affordable at all. And the fact that we can keep our doctors if we want it, it's a bunch of lies. But unfortunately, this is not like a little fancy game or some sort of funny thing to talk at the bar. This is a real life and death situation. Now, my new healthcare bill, first of all, I got canceled. I supposed to have my original thing, but now next Monday I need to pretty much shop around for a new insurance plan. So right there, I'm pretty disgusted. Number two, I found out that my new most affordable bill that I can pretty much replace what I had before, instead of paying $160, I'm going to be close to paying almost $500. I mean, this is, people say it's just a few $100. First of all, I work for a living. I don't care if it was $1 more. But the point that we've been lied, deceived, and coerced, and forced like cows, cattle, to be slaves. We must admit that we are now a bunch of slaves. And don't get me wrong, the healthcare is just another implementation of many other things that already done to us, to forcing us to buy something or to pretty much rape our pocket. But today, I am at a point that, especially after, did you watch this Gruber, this MIT piece of garbage that the professor who wrote this Obamacare going on camera, on video, admitting that pretty much they lied to us? Did you watch that, Michael?
I didn't see it, no.
Okay, I'll play for you in a few seconds. But as I say, this is not just somebody that trying to steal extra money out of your life for something that could be already bad because it's my money, like a second car or fancy home. No, this is about basic survival. We're talking about your bread and butter. You're talking about my health. And on top, many people maybe cannot afford to pay an extra $350 a month. It would be more than $4,000 a year. But think about now the big plan of destruction of this economy. If every regular man had to put out an extra few $1,000s at the end of the year just to go to the companies, to this insurance company anyway, this is a complete fascism anyway. How you think all this money they're going to pretty much dry out in the regular free market or whatever is left of this free market? We're going to be in the complete depression, I believe. What do you think about this?
Well, yes, I agree that I've been predicting an economic collapse since about 1997. So nobody listens to me anymore when I talk about the economy. However, a personal friend of mine has just recently retired, and her insurance tripled.
Wow.
And she's now required to pay over $1,000, which is more than her house payment. She has a monthly, mortgage payment, and her insurance is now going to cost more than the house payment. And so whenever the government labels something, you can pretty much be sure that it's the opposite. So when they called this the Affordable Health Care Act, anybody expecting it to be affordable has, obviously been fooled.
Yes, like the Patriot Act. Remember that? Very patriotic, to be a bunch of slaves, pretty much, destroy our Bill of Rights. And but the sad thing, I'm not even mad at Obama because Obama is just a puppet doing exactly what he's supposed to do because he has masters behind. I'm mad at the American people, zombies that still believe and still want to believe in their arrogance and pride and don't admit that they were pretty much lied to. And we have finally being sarcastic, we have a complete tyrannical government. And don't get me wrong, Bush was nothing better. He was the precursor of what we have now. But Obama is doing what Bush couldn't do twice, or maybe even more, on steroids. So this is so important because this tyranny could never build up without the support of masses of ignorant people that pretty much they've been indoctrinated that it's good to steal from others. And pretty much the concept is whatever it's yours is mine. Because we have the government coming down at you with guns. That's why I have more respect for thieves and bank robbers. At least when they go out there, they risk their life. They try to steal your pocket or your money. They put their face there out, and they're going to get shot maybe, and they risk their life. Instead, these cowards, sleazy, I'm trying to wonder, keep the words FCC approval, leeches, they use government. They hide behind the government to go and rob us. So much more respect for bank robbers than for people who support Obama and their socialistic, Marxist, fascistic, because at the end of the day, it doesn't even go to the people. This goes straight to the corporations. So pretty much that's my little opinion about President Obastard, that he's not president at all in my book. Let's talk about good stuff, because that's why I wanted you here today, because I'm such in a bad mood that you bring me back to some sort of peace in my mind. One of the best books I read the last few years is Your Secret to Sovereignty, that I really treasure as a gift. You gave me a nice, beautiful gift, and it's always with me at night when I need to find some inspiration. I like to read it. It is not just a book. It is almost like a manual about what to do now. Because at the end of the day, we have the Constitution, we have the Bill of Rights, we have all this paper and ink that says, remind us, enumerates our rights. By the end of the day, it's proven. If people don't stand up and say, enough, this is the line, I'm ready to die for my rights, these rights are going to be pretty much trampled on us. And that's pretty much what I would like to take out of this book. But please tell me a little bit about, if you can resume your book in few words, what would you say to the people about Secret to Sovereignty?
Well, I am not a lawyer. I don't give any legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing in the book is telling people what I have done in my history, how I go around without a driver's license, and the things, you can do whatever you want. This is what I've done. Now, what I've done is fairly brave from most people's perspective, but that's the only way that we are going to restore our freedom is basically to take it. We can't just sit around and hope that the government is going to be good to us. We need to understand our rights and truly understand them. We would need to be willing to sacrifice for them. Everybody is familiar with, give me liberty or give me death. They like it on a T-shirt or
Mm-hmm.
bumper sticker. But I don't think that most Americans fully understand what give me liberty or give me death really means.
I agree. We've been domesticated for too long. That's a fact. And this is part of the plan, of course. Chapter 11 of Secret to Sovereignty, there is an interesting, very profound phrase. You start the chapter. It says, people have only as much liberty as they have the intelligence to want and the courage to take. Emma Goldman. I think it's very important. It's up to us how much tyranny we let infiltrate in our lives. Because, first of all, as you said, we must, first of all, acknowledge the problem. And knowledge is the first step to freedom, I believe. But then we need to also must take action, because knowledge itself can be a waste sometime. I mean, we must follow through. We must have a plan. We must ready to apply concepts of freedom in our daily life. And as I said, I agree with you. You giving advices, some they are very personal choices. For example, the fact of the driver license. Even I believe completely what you're saying, to follow a logic and follow also documents and laws and statutes. At the same time, we know very well that pretty much at the end of the day, we're living right now already in a moment that the last 50, 60 years, laws don't count anymore. The only law that does count is where's the longer barrel. And government so far is leading the way in that way, So, but at the same time, it's very important to start to apply the concept of freedom that every one of us, no matter where you live, no matter where you are, is a state of mind. And you start to understand that your rights are there no matter what. All you have to do is start to exercise them. So I really believe also what I like, it's a proactive and positive response, how to start organize. Because at the end of the day, you give also some sort of input on how to people start to go back to what America used to be. We live now in a country, in a society that we don't even know the name of our next door person living close to us, our neighbors. And that's exactly what this tyrannical government wants us. Isolated, alone, ready to sell each other out. Instead, when we start to get back together and unite as Americans, like, for example, what happened at the Bundys. Did you follow the Bundys situation, the standoff in April?
I did, and I had many people calling me on the phone, asking me if I was in Nevada, which is a very logical expectation. But unfortunately, my priorities were here with Mom and Dad, and I was unable to go to the Bundy Ranch. But if Mom and Dad had been self-sufficient, you can count on me having been there.
Anyway, think about it. I was there, and I was there also in your name, because the fact that after I read your book, I finished to read your book before that situation, just a few weeks before. And I would have probably gone anyway, but I went there with a different conviction. I mean, that time, for the first time in my life as an American, I said, okay, they want to kill me, go ahead. I don't care. At least I will stand for something. And this is not about the cause. This is not about the grazing rights. This is about freedom. It's about freedom of speech. It's about to understand that we're living under now a police state. When I saw the video of men and women being beaten up and being tased and be thrown on the ground just because they did not want to comply to be exercising their First Amendment in the middle of the desert, the federal government designated like an area, like a corral. That's the only way you can, the only place where you can exercise your First Amendment. Otherwise, you're going to get punished. And we're training rifles on you. I saw, okay, that's enough. That's all I need to know. And, of course, then the scam with the BLM, and now it's proven that they're taking over 3 million of acres right now just because it's part of a bigger plan. So I'm telling you, your book inspired me, not just to go there, but to go there with the right attitude. And I'm not a hero. I'm a regular guy. I enjoy life. But at the same time, I enjoy my freedom more than my life. That's the point. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, my pleasure. And again, it makes me so happy to know that I'm not alone in this fight and that there are other people who understand private property, who understand individual rights, and who share the same values that I have. That it's important to protect your neighbor and to help defend them against the government. If you look at the Sixth Amendment, it says we have a right to a speedy and public trial.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is a trial supposed to be public?
Yes.
I mean, do you really want all of your personal skeletons brought out of the closet? And, well, the reason that the trial is supposed to be public is so that the neighbors and that the general population can make sure that the government is not railroading you. That,
Exactly.
That you are, in fact, getting a fair trial. So if you are innocent, you'd be happy to have people, looking over the shoulder of the government and watching what the prosecutors are doing because, well, you're innocent. And if you are guilty, then we're going to be there, confirming that you are a danger to society and that you need to be behind bars or worse. But the whole legal system has been corrupted. And the district attorney usually acts as if the grand jury is under his control only. And we have demonstrated, at least in Texas, that's not true. So the people are standing up. The government is imposing itself in so many different ways that, more and more American people are starting to stand up and join together and demand that the government protect our rights, which was their mandate in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, as you said about this public trial, it's so important, but we lost that now also on paper, because with the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act, and this is not just about Obama's fault, okay? Obama is the precursor, he's been following up what Bush already started it. So for all the people that understand how dangerous Obama is and how this National Defense Authorization Act that pretty much creates indefinite detention, and you don't even have any more access to due process, don't just look at Obama. Bush did the same with the Patriot Act and the Military Commission Act. This is just an amplification of what already was started before. So please, we must expose Obama. We must talk loud and realize that we are living now in a pre-Magna Carta America. Not even in China they do this. In China they give you a phony trial. If you're enemy of the state, they put you in front of some sort of a state jury or whatever. You're going to be killed anyway, but at least you face a jury, and then they shoot you in the back. Here now, with the National Defense Authorization Act, you may be disappearing forever, indefinitely. Never ever have access to a judge, jury, or lawyer. And torture, too, for free. So this is very important. I say, it's not about Republican or Democrat. I am nothing. I became an independent for a reason, because I believe this is not about parties, it's about freedom or tyranny. And what is about, if you denounce today Obama, you should denounce also Bush with the Patriot Act and be honest about it. Because look at the Patriot Act 1 and 2. It's not much different from this National Defense Authorization Act. So this is my real point. We're living in a pre-Magna Carta America. We're living in a complete new America. It ends with K. And when people tell me, I got people from the other side or whatever side they think they are, well, why don't you go back to Italy? First of all, screw you. I'm an American. I'm here. I stand the line, okay? And I'll fight for freedom. This is my new country. I burned my Italian passport because there is no more way to go back. I remember Julius Caesar. I was studying when I was in Italy books about Julius Caesar and the Bello Gallico, the battle that they did in France, actual France. And don't get me wrong, he was a pain in the butt to, try to pretty much enslave other people. And I don't have much admiration for people like that. But there is always something to learn from a strategic point. When the Roman soldiers, they were before the day of the battle, they were in an inferiority situation. They were pretty much outnumbered. What the general used to do, get loose all the horses. That means now or we fight and die, or there is no way to run. That's the point. That's why I burned my Italian passport. I have no more where to go. This is my country. This is my last stand for freedom. And let me tell you something. Out there, it's even worse. At least here, we still have freedom of speech. This radio station is the proof. Of course, we need to keep the lingo clean. I understand that. But the point is, there is still opportunity to have rights that in many other parts of the world you don't have. For example, Michael, are you aware, for example, in Italy, if I start to say something about the president, the Italian president, was supposed to be the republic, that is not a republic, it's just corporate under the bankers anyway, but you can spend 5 years in jail, according to a penal code, 287 penal code law. I can spend 5 years in jail just because I said something offensive to the president. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm very unfamiliar with law in Italy.
Okay.
That sounds very much like the Alien and Sedition Act
Mm-hmm.
that John Adams passed when he was trying to become president.
Yes, I remember that. And, of course, it went to the toilet, I guess, right? We don't have that. We can still talk here in America about what's supposed to be our presidents in an offensive way. And that's the way it should be because, we are not their slaves. So just to prove that, because when I was in Italy, I had to go to do many other things, made me realize how much real slaves we are. And this is a fact. For example, when I used to have a music magazine, just a regular music magazine, of course, was in the newsstands, I had to go to a judge to ask for a permit, to have a license, to exercise what is called the First Amendment. Think about it. I need to have a license just to have a magazine, okay? So that's why I treasure this country as much what is left of this country. This is our country, and we may have sometimes differences. We can work it out with that. But when it comes down to freedom or tyranny, it's supposed to be pretty much we should unite. That's what I'm trying to reach with this show. I want to awake up my fellow humans and Americans from both sides, Republicans, Democrats, whatever you want to call yourself. We are all under attack. We are all in danger. Because what we're living now, this is not America. And if you're happy now because Obama is in control, your guy is in control, doesn't make any difference. Because when was Bush, was the same story. And look at now. We are going to face now, for example, another Jeff Bush or another Clinton. I mean, don't you see this is oligarchy? This is like two families pretty much micromanaging, at least officially, because we know the real policies, they're written behind the scenes. But if you don't understand that, I mean, I'm really sorry. Sometimes I lose hope, but that's why I like to sometimes stop and get together with like-minded people like yourself, Michael.
Well, again, you can't solve a problem if you're unaware of the problem. And the problem that we have here is very subtle. And it takes a little bit of study and understanding to comprehend it. And having you on the radio, it's just your passion, your confidence in the path that you have chosen that will cause other people to at least pay attention and hopefully follow suit.
Yes, and I need to remind everybody that if you agree, or at least if you share our values, and you want to support pretty much what we're trying to do here. Michael has been fighting this struggle many, many years before even I came to America. And, now he's taking care of his family. But we all need to support each other. I really believe that. We don't have behind us, like one of these bankers that pretty much print money out of thin air, like the Federal Reserve. Or we don't have any huge corporation sponsoring us. We do this because we put many hours, many days, many years of our lives into this fight without asking for anything. But sometimes, we could have used this time for other things, taking care of ourselves. And every one of us needs help. I want to say, if you want to help, especially Michael, that is going through this stage, he has a book. He has more than one book. I like very much also Good to Be King. Where people can find your books, for example, if they want to support your books, how they can find these books?
Really, the only place to find them is on my website, which is constitutionpreservation.org.
Okay. So please go there. And I know there is a kind of interesting, different way of payment with Michael. But if you really want to say, I appreciate your work, Michael, and I appreciate what you've been doing all these years. And by the way, these books, they're not just books, they're manuals. For me, it's been so easy to read them, even with my, I don't have any type of education. I just learn reading books like Michael's book. And they're very important. They can inspire you. And with these books, you can pretty much have a tool to try to share with your fellow Americans, to try to put some seeds in their brain about what we used to be. Not what we are, but what we used to be. So this is pretty much, for me, it's a positive approach, because we are under attack. We know that. We've been under attack the last 100 years. Since the creation, for sure, of the private Federal Reserve, 1913, it is pretty much, we lost the control of our country. Now, it's time through education. It's going to take us some years, maybe not this generation, but we will win at the end. But we need to start somewhere. And I think books like Michael Badnarik books, they're helpful tools to give us the information, and at least the starting point for our journey to freedom. Michael, I would like to, today, normally I prepare the show. Today it was about just be happy to be with you, celebrate that you're doing better, and hopefully you're going to be back to Texas and have you back into the action. And just, be happy to be with you and like-minded people. I would like to give you the floor. Whatever you want to say, Michael, go ahead.
Well, I'd like to say hello to some of my friends. I sent out a newsletter that I was going to be on your program, so I know that my friend Suzanne is listening from Korea.
Wow.
And Carol and Michelle are listening in Texas. So I want to say hi to them. And I've had a lot of people worried about me because I have not, been out on the, speaking tour very recently. But again, it's not for a lack of trying. I just have some personal responsibilities here at home. And, once my parents no longer need me, and unfortunately that could be a very sad situation, but once I've got some free time to myself, I will be back in Texas. I will be teaching my class as often as I can. And, I'm not off the Liberty Trail until I've stopped breathing, and that's not going to be for a long time.
Perfect. And, this is the point. First of all, we're going to have now next year, next January, supposedly new Congress that I believe really doesn't make any difference. Even, of course, on paper, we must push and we must hope for some sort, at least try to slow down this complete tyranny that we see upon us. What do you think about the new midterms elections? And now finally, and I'm being almost sarcastic because I really want to see them in action, the Republicans taking over of the Senate, of the House. What do you think, what do you expect in the next 2015?
I expect that it's all going to be more of the same. I've lost confidence that our electoral system really means anything. I think that there is so much corruption in the elections that you're never going to get good people elected. There's just too much corruption. I'm very concerned about the world economy. It was 2.5 years ago, we had rioting in Athens, Greece. Greece has been bankrupt. I'm told Spain and Italy are bankrupt. Germany is the only European country that has a stable economy, and they have sworn not to loan anybody else any money. China has $3.5 trillion worth of our debt. They are starting to sell off that debt. You have 5 countries known as BRICS.
Mm-hmm.
It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are forming a coalition. They're planning to build a different economic system based on gold. And I am confident that the United States dollar is going to be worthless.
Yes.
You've got a fireplace, you're going to be lighting the fire with $100 bills. That's what they're going to be worth.
I think you're right. I wish you were wrong, but there are so many signs that pretty much bring us back to the same track that we used to have seen in many time of history, like during the Germany, the German Republic, and of course during the Depression here. And when I say that, unfortunately, I don't have much hope in Republicans, I wish to be wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I look at facts. I don't look at just hypes. For example, let's look at these facts. Are you familiar with the Trans-Pacific Partnership? It is some sort of a transatlantic trade and investment partnership, the TTIP. Anyway, it's just another implementation of this supposed to be free trade. It is not really free. It is just a complete loss of sovereignty, of American sovereignty and American jobs. I'm all for free trade, but when it becomes real free, not when the government, through regulations, pretty much is going to destroy the competition of small businesses and destroy the sovereignty of nations. So much that what I'm talking about, Republicans, the new Republicans take over, is completely supporting Obama with this New World Order, global government, TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. So this is another point that as much as they want to try to act like they can stand each other, at the end of the day, Speaker of the House Bonner, or whatever is called his name, he goes play golf with him, okay? That's a fact. And forget about impeachment. This man at the White House should have been arrested right now in court-martial, in my opinion. And the fact that Republicans, they're still pretty much now shy and afraid to even to mention the word impeachment, this is disgusting. I mean, think about it. This man is being completely usurping his office, the function of executive government. Is doing now also the legislative government. Is doing executive order that pretty much is some sort of a disgrace to our system. What is Congress? Did you hear, Mike, that now Mr. Obama, with the stroke of a pen, by executive order, is going to pretty much grant amnesty to millions of illegal aliens? Did you hear that?
Well, I've heard that that's his plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going to be able to follow through with it, but most of your listeners need to understand that an executive order is only legitimate from the chief executive down to other government executive office holders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an inter-office memo.
Yes.
If the president signs an executive order and pretends that makes a law for 310 million people, he's acting the same way that King George III did by issuing a decree. That is blatantly unconstitutional. And, if we're not going to, indict him and impeach him for writing executive orders that are completely illegitimate, then, well, who's going to hold all these people to the truth?
Exactly.
I mean, I tell people that most of what our government does is unconstitutional. But if you don't know what the Constitution says, how would you know? In Chapter 6 of my book, Good to Be King,
Mm-hmm.
I prove that the United States is operating as a communist country.
Yes.
Not going to, sometime in the future, but right now, we are operating as a communist country.
I agree. This is the problem that many Americans, I believe, have. They don't want to admit a reality that is already here. sometimes I understand maybe in good faith, it's hard to, especially for the older generation, it's hard to see these things. But there's a point that there is no more excuse. We must face the truth, because the only way we can fix this reality, we must admit that we live in this reality. And that's why sometimes, I don't accept any more excuses. I don't care how old you are. This is no more the America that our grandfathers or great-grandfathers were living in. Not even that long ago. I'm talking about 1913. For me, it's one of the most dark moment of history of this country, when the private Federal Reserve was created. Pretty much we became slaves again, being forced to pay the income tax. Pretty much all it does, and Michael, you're the expert, confirm me if I'm wrong, according to this President Reagan, he did an investigation, a Congress investigation. All we do when we pay the income tax, we go to pay the interest on the debt to this entity called Federal Reserve, that is as federal as the Federal Express, that for the first time in the history, we had this before, but this has become pretty much the most important time. A pack of bankers, they had now the supreme, almost semi-god powers to create money out of thin air, and then they charge us the interest. And there you realize all these wars that were created and all these programs. Because every time the U.S. government needs a dollar, is going to back this dollar from this entity called the Federal Reserve, and they charge us interest on top. We used to have our bank, at least as an American bank, they didn't need to pay the interest. So the income tax is a new beast. It is not about being patriotic. It's about just being robbed and pay a pack of cartels of bankers.
Well, amen to that. I'm not going to argue with you when you're right.
I know. And this is, for me, the most important core issue, because even if we don't agree on, let's say, on different type of people, maybe have different idea of socioeconomics, let's first remove this cancer. Let's remove this parasite from our back. And then at that point, if we really want to print money for programs, at least we don't have to pay the interest on that to a pack of bankers. That's my goal. Anyway, I would like to remind Michael that already we have Christmas coming, and people who believe in Christmas, but regardless, there is a date everybody should write down. It's 24th of December 2014, and technically the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs pretty much says that the Small Arms Treaties, UN's Small Arms Treaties, is going to be enforced. And I remember that last year, Secretary Kerry, John Kerry, he signed this agreement on Small Arms Treaty, and the Senate never ratified, but I wouldn't be surprised that pretty much they will try to implement it too. What do you think about this Small Arms Treaty, Michael?
If they want to come and try to take my guns, that's up to them. I can't stop them from trying. But, well, if you're going to send people to my house to take my guns, don't send anybody that you like.
Okay.
Because those people are not coming home.
And my point is, we need to be, and that's great, that's the attitude, that's the spirit, I believe in that. But it would be better that instead of let them come to our homes, we stop them on the track. Because if we start to unite now, and that's why I like this chapter of the book, Secret to Sovereignty, start to organize your neighbors. Start to get together. Put aside the differences. Start to get better people. And start to organize also for scenarios that could be pretty much coming down to several things. Today it could be home invasion, crimes going up. The same time could be tomorrow a foreign invasion, or could be an act of tyranny. And instead of standing by yourself, like at the last stand at the Alamo, let's stand together. Let's organize Americans like it used to be, fighting for each other, fighting for our freedom. And I'm not here advocating violence. I always say I'm a peaceful guy, but at the same time, I'm not Gandhi. If you try to kill me, or if you try to make me become a slave, I will defend myself in every way God gave me the opportunity to. And I believe completely that we have the right to defend our lives and our freedom with every means. I'm not going to shoot the first round, but if you shoot at me, I'll do everything I can to shoot back at you. That's a fact. So, Michael, I want to meet you, my friend. Before we leave this planet, I would like to meet you. Are you ever planning to come to Arizona maybe, or maybe I should come to Texas next time you move there?
Well, my travel is limited by Mom and Dad's health.
Mm-hmm.
But again, once I have my parents in a nursing facility where they're going to be taken care of, I'll be able to return to Texas, and I'll be able to resume all of my, patriotic traveling and motivating. So yes, I'm happy to come to Arizona. I have several friends in Arizona, and one of the most convenient ways for me right now is to organize one of my Constitution classes.
Perfect. That would be
so that I can make my venture to Arizona a little bit profitable for me.
Yes, and I would help you out in every way I can. Whenever we got the opportunity, let us know. I'll be happy to share this information through the show. And, of course, I would like to be there at the class myself and support you.
Absolutely. And then we'll go out to dinner.
Perfect. Michael, listen, I want to let you go now, and I want to just say one more time, thank you very much. Please keep us updated. I would like to remind one more time your website. Please go ahead.
ConstitutionPreservation.org.
And also, please, if you go to YouTube, put Michael Badnarik. There are many YouTube clips. That's why I normally watch Michael. And there is also on his website, there are clips. You can have an idea of the message Michael is spreading and sharing, and his knowledge and his attitude. And they are really interesting to watch and relaxing. And if you like things like I do, it give me joy, honestly. I said, you listen to Michael when you're depressed and you think that you're surrounded by zombies out there with Obama, become a tyrant and all these things. Michael, you are the American that pretty much inspired me to become an American. Because when I was in Italy, I idolized American people like believing in freedom, not a bunch of slaves. And you are exactly the man give me the opportunity to inspire me to come here. Thank you very much, Michael.
Well, thank you, Luca. I look forward to meeting you face to face. We're going to have a good time. We'll go out for Italian dinner.
I will cook at my house. Bye.
Excellent.
Bye-bye, Michael.
Bye-bye.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. After a long train of abuses and dissipation, now we've lost our patience.
And you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. And this is Don't Tread on Us, remix version. Anyways, hour number 2, and we have another incredible guest. And I like really be surrounded myself with like-minded people. Don't get me wrong. I like debates. I like to have exchange of ideas. And that's the purpose of the show. We try to reach each other out, okay? I'm not here that I say everything is right. I hope to be wrong. Many things I say, I really do. Trust me. I prove it. At the same time, when I need a break, I need to surround myself of people that pretty much put me in a state of mind of peace. That means do not irritate my intelligence. That's why I have today with me an incredible lady. She's also a good-looking lady. And let me first of all put it on the air because sometimes I'm still leery. Are you there? Special guest.
I am here.
Beautiful lady. Let's introduce you with the right name, first of all, because sometimes I always destroy name, okay? I would like to give you a very official presentation. I have here with me today as a special guest for the second hour on Love, Guns, and Freedom, Mrs. or Miss Mary Ellen Moore, the executive producer and VP Public Affairs of Free Minds Films. Was I right? Did I?
You're absolutely right, and I don't know how you could destroy any name with that wonderful accent.
I don't know. Sometimes you're too nice. I believe that I should go back to school. I never really went to school when I came to America. I went straight to work. So I can even say go back to school. I'm trying to improve, but I appreciate it. Listen, thank you very much, Mary, because I really believe that what we're doing or what you're doing also with the company that you represent is so important. We need to try to share information because the information and knowledge, I believe, is the first weapon that we need to awaken the masses and to try to pretty much expose tyranny and the big evil plan against humanity and against America. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, who you are and who you were. And how did you get involved into all this sort of, I don't want to call it activism, but struggle for freedom? Let's talk about Mary Ellen, please.
Thank you. It's really an honor to be here with you today. I've kind of been following you for quite some time, and I'm so impressed with, where you came from and what you've accomplished and your great love for this country and what this country is supposed to stand for. But having said that, even though I was born in the United States, I'm originally from Minnesota, and I was very fortunate to have wonderful parents in the sense that they really, really imparted to me a love of truth and a love of liberty, and they were very, very instrumental in me being, educated to everything that's going on in the world. And I was raised in a Christian home, and I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And having said that, that has also been instrumental in the process of learning about everything. So, as a young girl, my parents encouraged me to do a lot of reading, and I was reading a lot of adult books on, conspiracies and politics and everything. And most of the time, because I was so young, I really didn't have any idea of what I was reading. But the good part of that was that when you're raised in a home like that, and then I went to the public schools in Minnesota, which were actually pretty good back then, but the education was still on the liberal slant. But what that taught me was to be a critical thinker. Mm-hmm. And that's what I don't see in too many Americans today, is the fact that everybody is programmed. And so I was an actress at one time and in another life, and I had the opportunity to interview with one of the major airlines. So I was a flight attendant for a little over 30 years, and I had the opportunity to retire. And I thought, I'm going to pursue my first passion, which is truth-seeking, and share information with people, which I heard some of the things you were saying earlier, Luca, by the way, and I totally agree with you. I mean, there's sometimes people say there's not much I can do, but what I believe people can do, if nothing else, you can educate yourself and the people around you that you care about.
Exactly. It all starts, in my opinion, with yourselves, because at the end of the day, every one of us has much more power than we can imagine. And remember, it's evil out there. It's like almost the Wizard of Oz, okay? It seems like it's so big and powerful. By the end of the day, it's a small little teeny midget behind the curtain, seriously. It's few of them. It's billions of us. Humanity is being enslaved by an illusion. This is my opinion based on facts. The fact that we are each other's, pretty much, we've been brainwashed to be each other's enforcers. People like Hitler or Stalin or Mussolini, or all the different tyrants in history, they could never have achieved the evilness unless regular good people were pretty much used in this part of conspiracy against humanity. I mean, even tomorrow, let's say, for example, Obama or Bush or whoever is going to be the next tyrant we have in the White House, is going to say, okay, from now on, today, I pass an executive order that all the firstborns must be pretty much executed because we believe that is part of saving the planet. I mean, don't laugh. This is pretty much what they've been doing now in China. I mean, the forced abortion is already a reality. But let's say they say some crazy, crazy things, like they've been doing so far enough crazy things. The point, they can say whatever they want. The only way and opportunity they have a chance to implement this evilness is when other like people like us, they're going to pretty much helping this plan. So this is the part of where you can mean with the products and the videos that the company that you represent produces, because it's very important to start to understand facts, how this level of tyranny is being created by levels. And for example, one of the videos that I watch and produced by Free Mind Films. I watch that. I buy all these videos, by the way. I'm kind of a freak. I spend most of my money in videos and music. But anyway, this is called State of Mind. But also, the more important for me, it's a noble lie. Oklahoma City, 1995. Expose the cover-up now. Because that, for me, was fundamental to understand if we've been lied. And there is so much evidence. This is not just some conspiracy theory, guys, please. And that sometimes you can talk about this for hours. But what better tool to have video and audio and documents put on video in a format very easy to assimilate and to share, and start to say, once I learned this very vital information that the federal government has been lying to us, they've been creating this sort of false flags, not just today with 9/11, but before that. And Oklahoma is very important. When we go that and we understand this is true, we must share this information out. This is the only way we can start to destroy this matrix. So that's why I think it's so important to have you here today. We can talk about, of course, yourself, and I would like to start to talk about pretty much what do you do now with this Free Mind Films company. Tell us a little bit your role and what do you do?
Well, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to get to know my now current colleagues, Austin Green, who's our producer, and Chris Emery, who's Vice President of Marketing of Free Mind Films. Mm-hmm. And these gentlemen kind of brought me into the fold. I was so impressed with what they had done with these two previous films. And, you know, Luca, if you had any idea the amount of research and work, especially the Oklahoma City film and the really, the persecution that these guys went through to get this film produced and the interviews and everything, and I'm glad you like it. In fact, there's so much more information that could be put in these films that they've got plans to, perhaps do a follow-up film on Oklahoma City. But these guys, they are truth seekers also, and they want to produce films, either on the documentary side or feature films that tie into truth-seeking and politics and things that will make people think and wake up. And I have to tie in a little bit to what you're saying. Is you were talking about we're all slaves, and really there's nothing so sad as a slave that doesn't know he's a slave or that she's a slave. Mm-hmm. So I've come to work for these guys, and I have had such a great time. Our third and upcoming film that's going to be released in February is based on two books written by a wonderful man named James Perloff, who I'm very honored to know, and he's a tireless researcher. And he was wrote for the New American Magazine for quite a long time, which is the publication of the John Birch Society. And he also wrote 2 books, which our film is based on, called The Shadows of Power, and also Truth is a Lonely Warrior. And he put together these books, and really what it is and what we're trying to get across in the film is that it's basically the history of America's hidden oligarchy. And we use the Council on Foreign Relations as a prime example for that. And I think a lot of people don't know that there are hidden oligarchies, not just in the United States, but in a lot of these other countries as well. We're operating under the fiction that we're basically a constitutional republic. Well, of course, that's what we were set up to be, but we're not really, because there's machinations going on behind the scenes. There is a shadow government, and while the CFR may not directly control the government, they have made sure that all their people are covering all the bases in government to be able to use their influence. That's why, Luke, and I know you've seen this, no matter who's elected to power, things keep moving in the same direction.
Exactly. And this is exactly my frustration when I, try to share information with both sides of the arena, okay? I don't really care about parties. All I care is that you respect my rights and we can get along, okay? But the point is, when I see this sort of brainwashing, I don't care if you're Republican or if you're a Democrat. When you start to bring them evidence, for example, now all the Republicans that they're freaking out over Obama, and justly, I'm freaking out too. This man is doing something that so fast, so brutally, on steroids, they're supposed to be arrested anyway. Forget about anything else. But they forgot about the other side, the Bush side, the Cheney side. And when you start to bring, for example, facts, that the Council of Foreign Relations, okay, it is not just a conspiracy theory. It is not just some sort of a myth out there. It's real. We got now 6-span videos, and I'm going to play right now for you because this is something very important. We have, for example, former Vice President Dick Cheney, that he was pretty much invited many times because he used to be also the director of this Council of Foreign Relations. So let's start first of all with a little clip played by, David Rockefeller, and we will find out exactly. Many people maybe already know, but let's play it first. This is so important for everybody that still believes that, we're still in Kansas. We are not in Kansas anymore. 1 second, let me play.
A special televised meeting of the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations provides a window to the real story. The speaker, Vice President Dick Cheney, takes a question from David Rockefeller.
Vice President, I just enjoyed so much your whole speech, but I was particularly pleased that you gave such a strong endorsement for the free trade agreement for all the Americas, subject that has been of great concern to me for many years, and particularly recently, and I think it's absolutely essential for the strength of our economy.
Rockefeller's role in the drive for an FTAA was a lot more central than he portrays. Rockefeller cultivated Latin American leaders who could be counted on to support such a proposal. Both the 1994 Miami Summit and the FTAA proposal were conceived and nurtured by a Rockefeller-created network. Prominent among the organizations sponsoring the Miami event were the Council of the Americas, founder and honorary chairman David Rockefeller, the Americas Society, chairman David Rockefeller, the Forum of the Americas, founder David Rockefeller, the Institute for International Economics, financial backer and board member David Rockefeller, the Trilateral Commission, founder and honorary chairman David Rockefeller. Rockefeller's influence also extends to the current administration. He was chairman emeritus of the CFR when Vice President Dick Cheney once served as a director, a relationship that Cheney concealed during his congressional career.
It's good to be back at the Council on Foreign Relations. As Pete mentioned, I've been a member for a long time and was actually a director for some period of time. I never mentioned that when I was campaigning for re-election back home in Wyoming.
Here we go. This is so important. Mary, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Because, it's a struggle sometimes, not just to say things that evidence, but to try to share facts and reality with people that want to ignore it. And sometimes there is so much you can do, don't get me wrong. For example, if you're a Republican and you still believe that Vice President Dick Cheney is a good man, you should jump in the lake, in my opinion. Seriously. I have no respect for you, because this is not about being, first of all, he's not a good man, he's an evil bastard. Okay, let's talk about what he's been doing with Halliburton and all the profit that he did. I mean, completely unconstitutional things, terrible act of deprivation and corruption. But let's just think now, for example, let's stick to the facts, okay? After you understand what the CFR is, Council of Foreign Relations, and do not trust my words, go to somebody that every true conservative, if you believe in a small government, should pretty much appreciate. Former Senator Barry Goldwater, he wrote a book with no apology, incredible book, everybody should buy it, at least read it. And there is a page, I think 286 or something, pretty much defines, and I'm paraphrasing it, the Council of Foreign Relations, like a foreign entity, tried to destroy American sovereignty. This is a fact. So, and if you still believe that a man like Dick Cheney, that is laughing at your face, that is also is proud, that he hid during the elections, that he was one of the members, was a director, not even one of the members, like Bush, father. He resigned from the Council of Foreign Relations before the elections, before he became president or vice president. Okay? So we must face reality. And don't get me wrong, Democrats, you are the same. How many Democrats there are in the same club of the different organizations like the Council for Relations? This is not just about Republicans. But at the same point, they want to destroy America, America's sovereignty together. That's the final goal for starting. Continue, please, Mary, before I
Well, no matter which political party is in office, you know, the cabinets and all the top positions are usually, 99% of the time they're CFR members. At least 21 secretaries of defense over the last 90 years, 19 Treasury secretaries, 18 secretaries of state, almost all of the CIA directors since CIA was formed. They're all members of the CFR. And I want to tell you a really quick story here because you are from Italy. May I do that?
Of course.
One of the things that people can research, because one of the original organizations that led to the formation of the Council on Foreign Relations was a organization in England called the Fabian Society. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting about that, it was founded in the mid-1880s, I believe, and it was named after a 3rd century Roman general named Quintus Fabius Maximus, who was the guy that defeated Hannibal. And what the Fabians discovered in studying this general was that he never confronted the enemy in open battle, but defeated him gradually behind the scenes. Because if you confront head on, then you get the big reaction. The original symbol of this organization, the Fabian Society, was the tortoise, slow and steady.
Yes.
So what they found out was that you do things through guerrilla warfare, basically through the back door, and that's how you keep people asleep while you're taking over. And then George Bernard Shaw had instead of a tortoise, they changed it to a wolf in sheep's clothing, which, of course, is much more appropriate, I guess. But what they basically want to do is reorganize society. They want to take over all of our land, all of our individual rights and capital. They want to, basically, it's the whole Marxist idea of the extinction of private property. And, you can read some of the books of the early members of the Fabian Society, H.G. Wells and George Orwell. So these guys formed the London School of Economics, and then J.P. Morgan and all of his cohorts then founded the Royal Institute of International Affairs, which led to the formation of the Council on Foreign Relations right after World War I, basically. I've kind of put this in a simplified nutshell version if people want to do research. Our film's going to have a lot more detail in it. And certainly James Perloff's books, you can really read a little bit more of the whole
and by the way, Mary Ellen, this is all the information you're saying, it is true. All you have to go to Google or go to the internet and go to fabians.org.uk. This Fabian Society, it's there. It's like the CFR, the Council for Relations, it's there. And the agenda is pretty much in our face. And you're right, like the Roman general, he didn't fight Hannibal face-to-face. He went slowly behind the enemy lines, tried to get them one by one, and finally they achieved their goal. Exactly the same thing the last 100 years, at least, if no longer. every nation is being taken over, and America was the last one that needs to go down. That's why they're so concerned about our education system with a common core to try to brainwash the next generation of Americans completely. We already brainwashed. And more important now, with the small arms treaty, they want our guns. But when we're going to be dumb and unarmed, they pretty much can do every tyrant, whatever they did before in the past history. Look like, for example, like Stalin, when he wanted to take over the private property of these farmers in Ukraine. Hey, he went down there with the army. The same army now that we have already, or militarized police and homeland security we have in U.S. soil. So wake up. If you still believe that you live in a free America, the land of the free, home of the brave, sorry to disappoint you. We are now under the land of the free, home of the slaves. And don't get me wrong, I don't like this. I want it back. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here, even just a regular guy. And that's why Mary Ellen works and dedicates herself to try to pretty much produce these documentaries to try to wake up. Because we need to wake up first, and then we need to wake up our fellows Americans. Now, let's talk about this. Is a very good, I can't wait to get a documentary, by the way. I would like to invite everybody to go to freemindfilms.com. And there is, of course, the Shadow Ring set for world release in 2015. There is also an incredible guest that is the narrator. And when I was in Italy, I was a young man. I really liked his show, Hercules. That was my favorite show after Homeworks. Kevin Sorbo, correct?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, he is really an amazing person. We were so thrilled to secure his talent. He's very awake, and he's getting more awake all the time, and he did a wonderful job narrating along with all of our wonderful interviewees that are going to make appearances in the film, because even though we're giving this sort of quote-unquote history, it's all tied in with what's going on today. So Kevin was he was pretty blown away by the script and agreed to do it, and in fact he wanted so much to be a part of this, and we were really happy to have him on board. And he's you can go to Kevin's Facebook page and like you said, freemindfilms.com, where you can also order copies of A Noble Lie and also State of Mind, which you can order or click on and just be able to rent it or download it to own. You don't even have to have the DVD anymore. That's where technology is taking us, of course. But the talent in this and the quality of this film and just the subject matter, we're really excited about it, because one of the things I'm really excited about is there's a couple generations of people even younger than you, Luca, which have never heard. Most people have never heard of the CFR.
No.
And I want to give all these young people and new generations an opportunity to go back in time a little bit and kind of see some of these machinations of how we got from then to now.
I understand, and this is exactly the purpose. By the way, you mentioned before something about, the New American John Birch Society. I was somehow blessed, or at least destiny gave me the opportunity. Also my brain, because I always look for things, okay? Don't get me wrong. There's half. 50% I believe it's just meant to be, 50% because we want to create our own destiny. So when I was still here, young in the country, and I wasn't a citizen yet, I was working for my citizenship, I already felt something was terribly wrong with the America that I idealized. I realized that we were living in a new America. This was before even 9/11, around 2000. So by act of God, I stumbled on the New American online and the John Birch Society. I don't know. It was like love at the first sight. Everything they were saying, I was pretty much in my mindset, and even sometimes I don't agree with everything, but most of the things were right on. And the sad thing is that this organization has been trying to warn America the last 50 years at least, or since the beginning, when they used to be called names, and like John Birch Society was a bad thing. You are cuckoos. Guess what? They were right. And unfortunately, I wish they were wrong. They were right. They were talking exactly what's happening right now. So the New American, I think it's a great magazine to keep yourself informed, a lot of information. And it's not even about being left or right. It's about just being about to be a sovereign nation, to be a free nation with free individuals, or just being a pack of slaves under global government. That's pretty much where I boil it down to. So this video, Shadow Ring, It's going to be ready for when? February, you said? 2015?
Mid-February to the end of February. We're in post-production right now, and so we're just starting to, talk about it in a kind of preliminary fashion, but we want to get everything set up so that we're ready to go when the premiere happens and everything. And I'm really excited about it. And again, great crew, Chris Emery, Austin Green, and all of our wonderful editors and graphics people and lighting. We just have a fantastic crew, and then we're looking forward to its release.
And also, beside Kevin Sorbo as a main narrator, there are also other special guests, I read, right?
Yes, we've got Ben Swan and G. Edward Griffin, who I know everybody's familiar with from his Creature from Jekyll Island and other great things he's done. We have Rosa Corey, who's the ultimate expert on Agenda 21, and Chuck Baldwin up in Montana there,
yes.
Pastor Baldwin. And we have about 18 interviewees that just did a fabulous job for us.
Really good, really good. This is something very important looking forward. And now, another thing, because I always think about one day, so we have one thing in common, all of us, no matter who we are, how wealthy or broke we are, one thing we all going to have in common. We're going to face one day, maybe later, maybe sooner, the last few hours or few moments in this body, in this reality. And I really believe that that's going to be the most important moment. And I always say, my fear is, did we do enough? Did I do everything I could? And what is your fear for who coming after us as a woman? I don't know if you're a mother or not, but for sure you have people that you love. And what are your fears? What do you think you would have done more if you had a chance to start again? Something you could have done maybe better, or something you wish you put more effort into it? Because I have a few things I can say about myself, but I try to focus, of course, on the things I'm doing. But what are your fears? What is your things that you could have done more to expose and to try to fight all this bunch of evil?
Well, I think that's a very good. I do think about that occasionally, and what really one of my fears is that something I notice with society in general is I don't have children, and I watch the people that do have children, and I it's not that they don't care about their children, but I look at this world and I go, I fear for other people's children sometimes more than they fear for them, it seems like. In other words, I want them to wake up so they can, try to leave their children a legacy of truth with all of this. And, it's so easy because we've had it so good for so long in this country. It's very easy to get comfortable. And we get distracted so easily, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I understand that people want entertainment in their lives. I've got areas too, but I've always believed you have to prioritize your life. You have to prioritize your life spiritually. You have to prioritize your life with the balance of a little bit of fun, entertainment, but also pay attention. And I fear that not enough people are paying attention. And by that, I don't mean getting out and voting for your Republican or your Democrat. I mean, seek the truth. But that means being proactive. And a lot of people do not want their little worlds rocked. And I want people to have their worlds rocked and want to have their worlds rocked.
I agree. And this is for me very important too, because sometimes, I don't even want to look at the big picture. I just look at myself as a human being. Every one of us is being given sometimes, many times, opportunities to say the right thing, or at least to say the good thing, or what we think is right, and to do the right thing, even in small part of our life. Sometimes it's just picking up when you see something bad happening, or when somebody's getting, beat up, and you try to stop evil, or when you see tyranny coming, for example, corruption at the city council meeting or the county meeting. We can write that sometimes just a letter to the editor, or just to try to share this information with our fellows humans around us. I mean, we all can do something. And I tell you, I didn't get there yet, but I know one of the worst things I don't want to face in my near, whenever I'm going to be gone, is regrets.
Yes.
The regrets are the things that I didn't do because maybe I was afraid to be judged, or was afraid of physical repercussion. At that point, think about it. There is no way you can take the time back. And I visualize sometimes, I'm trying to be positive. I don't fear death. I think a stage of a better place. Meanwhile, I'm enjoying this life. I'm a very physical person. I like this opportunity God gave me to have a body and trying to treasure it and to treat it right. But at the same time, I know that this is just a transition time. It is not the final stage of my eternity. So at the same time, I believe that what is really fear the most is to have regret of things I didn't do or I didn't say when I had a chance. So that's what I'm trying to say to all of us. I'm not here to preach. I'm just a regular guy. Please, don't be afraid, because I think really it would be very sad when one day, maybe before you go, and your sons or your daughters or just humanity looking at you say, what did you do when you had a chance? Why you were afraid to be judged? And this is something for me is very sad, because even in the Republican Party, I used to be a Republican for many years, not because I like the Republican Party, because I was just trying to interact and inject a true issue through a platform. Then I realized that this platform is way too out of control, like a way to control people. So I just say, as a human being, forget about parties, I try to inject issues. And when I say that things that they are true, but people just are afraid to speak up, or just to admit it that they're true, just because it's becoming a social club. Because now the Republicans or the Democrats in the county or in the city becomes a way to know each other, and you will never say something against your friend that maybe is the senator or maybe is the city council member or whatever it is, the county supervisor, just because probably you take some photos together, maybe invite you to some cheap breakfast together in front of everybody else. I mean, these are not friends. They are public servants. And treat them with respect when respect is due, but also be straightforward when they're pretty much selling us out and they're doing wrong things. So the point is, let's not be afraid and let's not be living with regrets. That's pretty much my little message here. By the way, besides being an activist, you're an incredible good-looking lady, and I would like just to remind everybody out there that if you want to see your photo, they should go to my website, lovegunsfreedom.com, where today's show, there is a link from the homepage, and they can go to today's show. There is also a beautiful headshot of Mary Ellen.
You are very kind. Thank you very much.
Mary Ellen, do you have anybody beside your activism and all your effort you put, anybody in your heart to share your life?
Right now, no, because I've moved a couple of times in the last few years, and I've built a house and done all this stuff. And sometimes you have to put certain things on the back burner for a while.
Okay, the name of the show, I call this show not just Guns and Freedom, but Love, Guns and Freedom. And the fact that I put the word love before the guns, before the freedom, because I believe love is pretty much the engine that pretty much energizes the universe, okay? Wouldn't be freedom without love. I mean, to commit yourself to freedom, you must first of all love freedom. You must love your little bit yourself and your fellow humans to pretty much dedicate yourself to freedom. Same way with guns. And also believe that my philosophy is like a little bit like Ovidius. You wrote this book, poems, and one of these main phrases that I really like is carpe diem, enjoy the day, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. I always say, little correction, carpe diem, enjoy the day, but have a plan for tomorrow too, because you never know when it's going to be the time. You may stay here for a while. So at the same time, I always say that the best revenge against our enemies, we talk about these serious topics, Council of Foreign Relations, New World Order, Obama, and Bush, and tyranny, martial law, and national defense, authorization act, blah, 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 blah. Terrible, serious things. But once in a while, we need to break. We need to have a break. Otherwise, we already lost. So I try to find peace and harmony and joy in small little things. And sometimes, a glass of wine, a good meal, I like pasta, and a good company. It's for me, at the end of the day, my revenge against the evil. Because sometimes I believe being happy or try to be in peace with yourself, enjoy the moment. Because happiness is a very strange concept. And I realize in my little experience of 46 years on this planet that we always look for happiness, and sometimes more we look for it, we'll never find it. But the moment that we say, I want to be happy now, whatever I have, I'm going to be happy right now, I found my happiness. Sometimes I stop, I say, wow, I'm healthy, I don't have to go to a doctor, I still have a pair of shoes on me, and I'm drinking my espresso today, I'm a happy guy. Seriously. I know I sound probably stupid, but That's where I'm coming from.
No, it's very well put. I totally agree with that.
So what is what do you do in your spare time when you don't produce movies and talk about facts like such important information? What do you do as a woman to enjoy your moment of happiness?
Probably my first love is travel. I was born with that wanderlust gene.
Mm-hmm.
It's never really quite gone away, even after flying. It was kind of tough to leave my very comfortable flying career because I was having dinner in Europe once a week, Barcelona and Rome and Paris and Nice and places like that. So it was very hard to give up. So that's one of the things that I very much like to pursue, and that's not a bad thing because when you travel, the world really opens up for you, both humanly speaking and other ways. It's a wonderful thing. But not everybody likes to travel. So
I used to travel so much. Let me tell you, when I was 17, I was still in high school. My Christmas time, I was lucky. My mom let me do pretty much whatever I wanted. I went to Canarias Islands. I used to be in windsurfing, and I spent my first Christmas by myself completely. And then from then, after when I finished high school, I was, I was looking for the island of freedom that probably I realized never exists because freedom is inside me. But the point is, I enjoy to travel so much. The problem is, when I came to America then, I pretty much started to change, of course, lives, responsibilities, businesses, and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, two things happened. First of all, I started to realize that I found my place, even it's not perfect, but I love Arizona. I can do things here that I cannot do anywhere else. Even sometimes, they're just probably simple things, but I've seen the place I wanted to see. But now, honestly, the thing that really destroys me and make me feel like a bad feeling about traveling, it's about going and being abused by some sex offender, pedophile, TSA person out there that pretty much thinks that we are so stupid, leaving the borders wide open, having illegal aliens with a special pass. They don't even need to have any type of ID. They let them board on planes. And me, as an American person, I need to pretty much submit myself to be in touch physically. Nobody's going to touch my private parts. Stay away from me. And more important now, the questionnaire that you're going to be abused to. For example, the last time I traveled to Italy was about 2006, I guess. And I was coming back to New York, and I was already an American citizen, fresh out of the batch, and I started to act like it. When I was an immigrant with my visa, I submit myself. I understand this is not my right to be here, so I try to accommodate you with all the questions you have. But when I became an American, I started to say, wait a second. The TSA guy or Homeland Security guy asked me, why did you go to Italy? And I went there for 3 days. And I said, sir, with all due respect, none of your business. I was there for private business. To say to somebody think is God, or at least has got complex, none of your business, first of all, I wasn't unpolite. I was just really mean it. Why should you know why I went to Italy? I went there, and I'm here. I'm back. I have an American passport. I have no any type of tickets, so I'm a law-abiding person. I have no warrants. What do you want from me? That's what I told him. Wow. You can imagine like you're talking to some god and he gets mad at you. So they put me in the little dark room, or at least the room with the people that don't comply with questions. And they let me sit there for 2 hours, okay? 2 hours trying to repeat the same questions over and over. And I say, at the end of the day, I say, guys, you can say whatever you want. I have a Fifth Amendment. I don't want to talk to you. Then they open my bag, okay? I have a little backpack, very light because I was just there to visit my mother for 3 days, okay? And the first thing that came out of the book was like a constitution, a copy of the Constitution. I was almost laughing because, the definition of domestic terrorist is if you believe in the Constitution or if you mention the Constitution. So, oh my gosh, they got that. Second thing, I had a copy of the Bible, and I'm not a preacher, but I was trying to learn some stuff, and I was to read the Bible. So, and the eyes of these Homeland Security guys started to get bigger. And then the final thing really, I think, threw him off. They had to call for reinforcement, at least another person, because they thought I was completely crazy. It was a huge book called The Gun Bible by Boston Tea Party. It's like 800 pages, all about guns. So after they saw that, and they saw my pretty much refuse to comply with their questions, they didn't know what to do. Probably they were thinking about sending me to Guantanamo. I don't know. All I know that I'm not going to put myself in the situation anymore. I believe that traveling is supposed to be also right. Now it's becoming like a privilege, and it's sad. But I used to like that, honestly. I used to like that. What is your most favorite place in the world, beside wherever you are, that you like to travel when you can?
Oh, well, I haven't been everywhere in the world, but I love the United States. I love my country, so I will say that. But of all the places that I've been that I just find to be magical is the south of France. And it's funny because I love the Roman influence in the south of France. It's actually a lot of intact Roman ruins there and the small villages, and I find the people there are very engaging, and it's interesting. They always want to talk politics, and it's really sad. These little old men in these little villages playing bocce ball or petanque or whatever they call it over there. They've sitting there with their newspapers, and they want to debate. They're more well-read and highly educated, it seems like, in current affairs than a lot of Americans. So it's a lot of fun, and I love the food over there. I love Italy also, but I really have spent a lot of time in the south of France. So.
Have you ever been to Villefranche?
Oh, yes, many times.
Okay, interesting. I spent some times there, too, in my past life. And part of it, I like it. It's nice weather and good restaurants. Unfortunately, being an Italian, I don't know why they got so many... I don't have any problems with anybody. We are all humans. Sometimes you get bad, sometimes you get good people. But unfortunately, there is a lot of, diatribe between... Italian people and French people, especially that part of France. And the bad experience I had my car with 2 tires slashed, just because it was probably my license plate was Rome at the time. That was before the European license plate. So I don't think, I don't know. I enjoy everything else, but there was a bad, bitter taste before I left. I got my 2 tires on my car.
I kind of like to go to the more out-of-the-way areas. Anyway, it's wonderful. The French Riviera is wonderful, but I've had most of my fun going inland to the areas that are less touristy and less controversial. I had the opportunity to be the assistant to Prince Albert of Monaco during the 2002 Olympics.
Wow.
When I was living in Utah, and so I got invited the following summer. I was in France with my cousin, and we got to have lunch at the palace with Prince Albert, which was really quite fun. That was one of the highlights of my.
I think I saw some photos. I think I saw some photo of you with the prince. Is it correct?
Yeah, you probably did. I think it's on my Facebook site.
Yes.
On there.
Interesting. This is good because what I'm trying to do here, guys. The beautiful thing that I think we should try to achieve. Is try to get a balance. We want to do what we think is right, try to be active and trying to expose evil. At the same time, we must keep everything in perspective and try to not get ourselves completely sucking into this evil. We want to still enjoy life because otherwise we really lose everything. I have a little poem that I wrote, and I would like to dedicate it to you and all the listeners. It's called Happiness, okay? And this is my way to be happy. Of course, everybody else has a different way. A glass of wine, the smell of coffee, my mother's pasta, a kiss from you. My cat is purring, the birds are singing, a brand new gun, the sky is blue. Smiling at the sun, driving my truck, praying to God, searching the truth. Happiness by luca-zanna. It's my little way to say thank you very much to be here with me today and with us, listeners. Mary Ellen.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for what you do and for all your beautiful music.
Listen, I would like, speaking about music, before I leave you, I'm going to play for you, I was playing at the beginning, a song that is the remix of the main song, Don't Tread on Us, and it seems like one of the most requested songs out there on the internet. And I did the remix, it's some sort of a dance, Giorgio Moroder style, 70s dance style with some rock guitars. And I will play for you right now, and I will dedicate to you and all the people that are working for the project that you're working together, Free Minds Film, because it's still pretty much about the concept of all this activism and to create all this awareness out there. It just remind to everybody out there try to enslave us that we are not your slaves, okay? So, Mary Ellen, thank you very much. Let's say one more time, please, the website, freemindsfilm.com.
freemindfilms.com. That's the main one, yes. And you can also go to James Perloff's website at jamesperloff.com as well.
Thank you very much, Dali. I appreciate you. Say hi to everybody, and I'll be in touch with you, okay?
All right, take care.
Bye-bye. Here we go. Now we have Don't Tread on Us, and this is the remix version. And I would like to remind you also that you can pretty much download this song on Amazon, iTunes, or directly to my website, www.zanna.us. And that's the way I keep this show free, because don't get me wrong, you know, we appreciate your help, your prayers, but also we need your money. So support KTOX, support also, of course, Guerrilla Media Network, and support myself. Just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs straight to www.zanna.us. Here we go.
Lost our patience. You're trying to kill our constitution, to kill our pride. Now the wood is dry. Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. Keep on pushing us into desperation. You will only fuel our determination. Yeah. It's been way too long since the last time, 1776. Now we're done with your tricks. Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Not your slave. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. Don't tread on us. Don't tread on us. Don't tread on us. Now it's payback time. Don't tread on us. Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay. You're gonna pay for all your crimes. Don't tread on us. Don't tread on us. Don't tread
and that was Don't Tread on Us, the final remix dance version. As I said, guys, this is not a game, this is not entertainment, even we try to keep it light. This is really an opportunity to share information that pretty much is for the most important thing we have. The future of humanity and our freedom is at stake right now. So I want to thank again the opportunity I have with the KTOX here, local station, and Guerrilla Media Network to give me the opportunity to share this message and hopes and fears, and more important, try to wake us up, each other, okay? This is pretty much the purpose of the show. It is not to make you feel great or to make you feel good or to irritate you. No. I just want to try to put this vital information and understand that we're all in danger. All of us. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrats, Libertarians. As a human beings, humanity is really at the very final stage of global tyranny. That's the point. Now, if we can put aside for a moment our little differences and we understand that the important things we were talking today, like, for example, with my guest, like, for example, Mary Ellen, and this important documentary talks about the secret government, who is really behind. This secret society is not that secret anymore. Council of Foreign Relations has been out there on the open for years. And we understand that these people are dictating pretty much the policies that we are facing as a nation. This is something very important. We have no more excuses. The information is out there. It's out here. So you can keep driving now, do whatever you want to do, go to your church, go to your picnic, whatever. That's fine, great. But at the same time, start to be aware that you're not living in Kansas anymore, okay? Your children, your grandchildren, one day they're going to look at you and yourself, because you're not going to escape this. You're going to live this hell too with us. Trust me, even if you're an older person, you're facing already tyranny. Look what we have right now. Look where we are. So that's my only point. This is the purpose of the show. We appreciate your input. And by the way, the second hour now, normally I don't do that. I would like to invite you to call in. I mean, there is a phone number, 800-842-1340. Call in, be nice, I'll be nice. We don't need to agree on everything. My goal here, honestly, is to be wrong. I hope to be wrong. Every time I'm here, I hope all the things I'm saying, they're just a bunch of hypes. Please. And if you agree, that's fine. You call too, and let's talk a little bit if you want to. If you have any question for me, I'll be happy to try to answer in any way I can. And then we will talk also a little bit about love, because this show is about love, spiritual love, and also physical love. So don't get too excited, nothing pornographic, but we will talk about love too, okay? So stay tuned. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. And don't forget also to go to my website, www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Don't go away. Ready for final hour.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Come and take it. 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 You're gonna like it. You're gonna feel like it's paradise. Come and take it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna taste it. One between your eyes. Come take it. Come take it. Come take it. Come take it. No more false illusion.
Okay, we're back in the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. And that is Come and Take It. I wrote these songs, music and lyrics, inspired by our friends of the United Nations. And whenever they wanted to go and come take our guns, you know what? The message is very simple. Come and take it after I pretty much unload all my magazines to you, okay? And as I said, I'm not for violence, guys. I really want to live a beautiful, peaceful life. I enjoy going out, writing poems, singing, and cooking pasta, drinking coffee, whatever. Think about me as the most peaceful person you have imagined. But if you try to enslave me, I become a beast. Simple as that. So anybody wants to take my guns, you got to kill me first. Simple as that. Sorry to ruin the moment of Sunday morning, but this is reality. Because pretty much what we're talking about here, it is not just anymore a conspiracy. The Small Arms Treaty, that's pretty much that piece of garbage of Mr. Kerry, John Kerry, signed in 2013 is real. Go find out. And the United Nations just put out on their website, so this is not another conspiracy, that December the 24th, just to give you a Merry Christmas, okay, that will enforce the Small Arms Treaty. Now, this was never even ratified by the Senate, this treaty, according to the Constitution, every treaty must be ratified by the Senate, but I don't care. Even if tomorrow all the Senate is going to go crazy and start to pretty much smoke crack, they're going to ratify this one. You're never going to ratify my rights. My individual Second Amendment right, I don't care. If 99.9% of Congress is going to ratify this piece of garbage, I will stick to my guns and my honor and my life and my freedom. Now, we have a caller. Let's see. I have no idea. We do not censorship here. We do not do anything. Let's see, first of all, if you're still there. Caller, are you still there?
Well, yes, I am, Zanna. This is Ron from California.
Ron, you're my favorite listener. How you doing there, my friend?
I'm doing good. Really good. But, I have a little piece of breaking news. I don't want to interrupt your discourse.
Go ahead.
Talking about, but when I see breaking news, I always try to tell you.
Please, go ahead, my friend.
I got a good one.
Tell me. Tell us.
What would happen, and for the listeners out there, if they found out that on Friday that the state bar director of the State Bar of California got fired?
Wow.
And then they found out that he was his name is Dunn, by the way, and he was a former, member of the California State Senate that was hired by the bar to make relations with our politicians greater. And then apparently the internal fighting within the bar over this illegal foreclosure and land grab that's going on.
Yes.
He became unfavorable, and they decided to send him an email that he was fired. He was fired via email.
Wow. Is this official? I mean, this official news, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna tell you where you can look it up.
Perfect.
And what's really wonderful about it, and I just, I'm chuckling.
Listen,
okay?
I always believe that there is always hope. This is a struggle between good and evil.
Oh, yeah.
And we try here, all we try to do in good faith, and, we try to expose evil. And we are not saints, we are not perfect, we can make mistakes, but something when you see that it's completely planned evil, and you see that there is no accident, no mistake. This is like a premeditated act of evil. This is something we must do, something like you've been doing very well, or you try to do your best when it comes down to exposing the evilness of the banking system, the fraudulent banking system, especially with the repossession and possession of your home.
Well, how about the place where you live and they're stealing the roof over you from under your wife and your children, and you're standing there and you want to protect your guns and you can't even protect your own family? Something is wrong.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give you the first paragraph.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, and this is not Ron O'Donnell's opinion again, because my opinion does not count. But here's a news flash from Sacramento. Hours after his termination was announced, fired California State Bar Executive Director Joe Dunn filed lawsuit against the state bar, alleging that he was canned after alerting the bar to serious ethical breaches among top leaders. The complaint, filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court Friday, says that Dunn and 6 other unnamed plaintiffs filed 2 whistleblower notices with the bar during the first week of November. That would be this month. Dunn says he was fired 2 days later via email while giving a speech in San Francisco.
Wow. Well, that's good. I really believe that there is always hope. Until there is life, we must fight and stand for freedom.
Well, we have some people up there at the top fighting like hell. Right at this moment, I don't know who's on the right side of this.
Okay.
But there is a division within the judiciary in California over this.
Good.
And that means that the message that you people have been putting out day after day after day is reaching the top of our judiciary in California. And if it's here, it's in other states as well. So my hat's off to you.
Listen, we're all doing what we can. We are like little ants, but we don't stop. And all together, we're going to be a huge ant in their butt, okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Okay, breaking
Thank
news.
you.
I'll call you the next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was my friend Ron from California. One thing I really appreciate about the show, I have the chance to, first of all, exercise my First Amendment to a bigger audience, and I'm really thankful for that. And also to meet very interesting people, and I consider brothers and sisters in freedom. I never met him in person, and I think this is one of the most beautiful things, really. I like Ron very much, and you see, he's a Democrat. I am an independent, even I used to be a Republican. Doesn't mean anything. It means that we all believe in freedom. We may have sometimes little differences when it comes down to socioeconomics or the way we would like to fix things, but at least we understand both, that the banking system is the cancer that pretty much it got created, and now it's completely eradicated in this country, and they control. The central bank controls both parties, controls the nation. He understands that. He understands the fraud of the Federal Reserve. And when we understand that, and we understand the Bill of Rights, we all get along. That's pretty much the story, in my opinion. Now, phone is still open. This is going to be a different hour. First 2 hours, we had the guest and more specific topic. Today, I want to get it loose. It's going to be the hour about love and also some news, and maybe some guns, too. Phone lines, in case you want to give a call, 800-842-1340. You're listening to KTOX 1340 AM and also luca-zanna here. And also you will listen to the show back on my website, www.lovegunsfreedom.com, and on Guerrilla Media Network. Now, second part of the show. That was Come and Take It, the song, and pretty much the story about this United Nations Small Arms Treaty. It's like living in a movie. The 24th of December, we'll see what happens. Maybe not it's going to happen that day, but believe me, you see that things are moving on. Now, armored vehicles, they're everywhere. Kingman has a beautiful, I'm being sarcastic, Police of Kingman, a beautiful armored vehicle given to the KPD by the federal government with federal grants. Today I was on Facebook, and there was a post by State Representative, Arizona State Representative Brenda Burton. It's a great lady. I respect her a lot. She's one of the best ladies we have for our Second Amendment in Phoenix. And she posted a photo of an armored vehicle sitting exactly next to the compound of the Sheriff Department, Mojave County Sheriff Department. I don't know if this armored vehicle is the one that belongs to the KPD or is a new armored vehicle to the county. All I know that I've been screaming about this militarization of the police in Mojave County since the first armored vehicle, more than 1 year ago. At least the first few days when it came out, we also put a video out, YouTube video, and tried to reach out our local representatives, and nobody really gave a damn. Now, finally, because Representative Brenda Burton put a photo, I'm glad to see that Supervisor Hildy Andrews took notice and already posed a question to the county. We will find out. All I know that after we find out, we better have some actions, corrective actions, because we don't live in Iraq here. We're supposed not to be occupied territory. We're supposed to be free Americans. And if somebody must have an armored vehicle, it's we the people, not the freaking government. That's the bottom line. And when people say, oh, we need it because the terrorists, we are all terrorists now. Wake up. Now they're going to start to use this vehicle to confiscate your property. I mean, there was a news just a few days ago. A man that's supposed to pay a fine to the city for some zoning. I'm talking about a big fine because, it doesn't take much to pretty much, they give you $1,000 a day fine. Here we go, $80,000 fine was. Instead of going there with the regular police or whatever, you got to pay whatever, enforcing this terrible, tyrannical fine. But regardless, they came there with the full SWAT team and armored vehicle. They got the man, they brought him to the bank, and then, this is an older guy, by the way. He's a very peaceful man with no record, okay? In his 60s. And pretty much they say, now you get a check and give us $80,000 with an armored vehicle. I could not believe it till I saw the photos. I think it was in Michigan. I may be wrong, but pretty much it's happening everywhere. So there is no justification to have armored vehicles in the hands of the Gestapo. Sorry, guys. There are a lot of good people there, don't get me wrong. I really hope that more peace officers, they will uphold the Constitution and the oath to the people. But unfortunately, there is also proof that many of these people, they don't go there because they believe in upholding the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and keeping the peace. Now it's becoming like a federalized form of control. That's pretty much the story. So my prayers and my best wishes to all the law-abiding and constitutionally friendly peace officers. They will pretty much become the oath keepers and defend this republic and the people. My life is for you. But all the bastards, they pretty much just have the God complex, and they try to pretty much hide behind a badge. Shame on you. You don't need an armored vehicle in a civilized, free country, okay? This is an excuse. This is just, on top is a waste of tax dollar. Let's move to the next thing, a little bit of love. As I said, this hour is about love, okay? Normally I have individuals, singles, that they want to pretty much introduce themselves, and they want to meet other people. Think about like Match.com without being Match.com, because we talk about freedom first. We are like-minded people. And I put you on the air. It's free. You just send me an email. Go to my website, lovegunsfreedom.com. By the way, there is a section called Love. And if you go to the homepage, all you have to do is just pretty much click the little heart symbol. And you will see that there are beautiful singles, men and women, and between. Doesn't care. I don't care. And what happens, you can pretty much send me an email, and you can be on the show. And we can talk about you and what you like, your political ideals, your freedom ideals. All I care that you believe in respecting each other's rights, and you don't want to take what somebody else owns. We respect each other. We may have difference of opinion, but we respect each other's and our properties. That's simple as that. So, and of course, you're going to be on the air, and also put your beautiful photo on my website, lovegunsfreedom.com, in the love section. Then there is a link directly to your Facebook page, if you have Facebook, or to your email. So, like-minded people, they may maybe contact you, and you can become pretty much maybe in love, or just sharing romance, or just friendship. That's pretty much the idea of finding love. And I want to thank the show to give you this opportunity. Now, there is also another way, and it's also an interesting way. A few months ago, I created a website. It's called freedomlovers.us. The idea was very simple. I wanted to put a place like like-minded men and women. They can pretty much get together, become friends. First of all starts with friendship, okay? And of course, maybe, who knows, find love, find also respect, helping each other, networking. But the idea also is for singles, honestly, come on. But it's not just about getting excited and getting horny, okay? It is about also to become friends. Sometimes you want to share your life, your day, with a person that you don't need to fight or try to convince or try. We already know what's going on. We are already there, and we can enjoy life, a barbecue, a coffee, whatever you like, okay? Go to freedomlovers.us. It's completely free, okay? You create an account. You can upload your photos, your videos, and start to meet like-minded people. Simple as that. This is my little gift to you. Now, let's talk a little bit about things I would like to touch today. First of all, the Don't Tread on Us contest. You heard before the song Don't Tread on Us, and it's one of the songs I wrote and I like the most. And I would like to remind you a little bit how and why and when I wrote this song. I must really thank Mojave County. It was a few years ago, about almost 4 years ago, I guess, during pretty much the Senator McCain town hall meeting. I'll give you the short story, very short. I don't want to bore you. During this town hall meeting of Senator McCain, I was trying to pass out, before the meeting, like a voting records flyer, a flyer with the voting records of Senator McCain. By the way, sucks. His voting records is exactly the opposite if you believe in individual rights, sovereignty, constitution. The guy is a globalist, is a Council of Foreign Relations member, okay? So I don't care about he was a veteran or not. He's a bad politician for America if you believe in freedom and sovereignty. Now, I was very polite. I was just passing out flyers with some other friends. Among them, also, there was a veteran, by the way, Navy veteran, exercising our First Amendment on county property. Simple as that. And somebody from the county, according to the records, you will see that, they told me, pretty much one of the supervisors at the time told me that I must stop immediately to pass out these flyers with the voting records because there is a law, a county ordinance that pretty much says you can't do that. At the time, Sheriff Sheena was the sheriff, and I say, Sheriff, what law or what ordinance are they talking about? And unfortunately, the sheriff say, I don't know. That was sad because I used to have a high respect for the Sheriff Sheena at the time. And don't get me wrong, nobody's perfect, but I was disappointed. He's the sheriff. I didn't ask to the fisherman what is the price of a steak, okay? I asked the sheriff which law it was breaking. And I've been sarcastic because I knew that pretty much the only law we should go by when it's come down to the First Amendment is the First Amendment, okay, or the Bill of Rights. And I wasn't disturbing anybody. I was just very impolite. So anyway, I stopped immediately. We ceased to pass these flyers. We went to the meeting. And at the end of the day, I realized that I was asking for which law the day after I was supposed not to pass out this flyer. Guess what? There was no county ordinance. Mojave County had to write very rashly a county ordinance because it was just a word. It was just some sort of a customs. Like almost during the king, before the kings and princes, before Magna Carta, they didn't need a law. They were just what the king says. That's the law. And that was on record, by the way. It's not my opinion. They had to pass a county ordinance that you could not pass out anymore flyers on county property. Anyway, short story, I had to fight the county. And I appreciate, by the way, the time KTOX was pretty much one of the first and maybe one of the few broadcasting. I think it was the only one, honestly. I didn't really get any support from other broadcasting out there to pretty much let me share this drama as a new American. I believe in freedom. I believe in the Bill of Rights. Why I cannot pass out a flyer with just some voting records of this piece of garbage of a Senator McCain? So after that, I had to realize that the Mojave County, especially then, and unfortunately still there is a lot of corruption, okay? It's getting better, don't get me wrong. I want to be positive, but it was really bad. I had to also go in federal court and sue him. Meanwhile, all this, I wrote this song, Don't Tread on Us. That's the way I wrote this song. So I want to be positive and thankful. I am thanking right now Mojave County for letting me write this song, Don't Tread on Us, that I will play again this time, probably later on, the version, not the remix. But now, my point is this one. There is a contest. The contest is about win a free front site diamond membership, $15,000 value with Don't Tread on Us. As you know, I don't just enjoy the Second Amendment as a philosophical point of view, but also believe in training, practicing, and I found a great opportunity at Frontside, Nevada to train. Okay, I'm a life member. And one of the best memberships they have, it's the Diamond membership. Unfortunately, not that many people can afford it. It's about $15,000 value. Let me tell you something. When you get the Frontside Diamond membership, you are pretty much a lucky guy, okay? Because you can do the rest of your life all the different classes and courses that they offer from site, from defensive handgun, advanced handgun, tactical handgun, shotgun, rifle, advanced rifle, machine gun, Uzi, empty hands, edge weapons, rappelling. It's amazing. And every class, let me tell you, if you want to buy a class a la carte just for the 4 days or 2 days, for a 4-day class, 4 days class, I mean, it costs you like about $2,000. Very expensive. But guess what? You can get it for free just because you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom here with me. Now, how to do this? Very simple. You need to get, first of all, a copy of the song Don't Tread on Us. Now, Don't Tread on Us by John Luca-Zanna. You can find it everywhere. Amazon, iTunes, even YouTube. If you are too broke, you cannot afford 99 cents for my song on Amazon or iTunes or whatever, get it on YouTube, okay? Don't Tread on Us. I appreciate it if you buy it, but if you can't, you're too broke, okay, we help you out. Now, once you go there, you download the song, and what you do, I ask you just one simple thing. Create a little video for YouTube, okay? Using the song Don't Tread on Us as a base for your video. Now, what you're going to put in that message, I don't really know. I mean, you do what you want. The point is you can do something that get inspiration by the lyrics. Don't tread on us. We are not your slaves. You work for us. That's pretty much the idea. So create a video, a YouTube video, then you upload it, okay? And once you upload it, okay, you're going to pretty much put in the text of the title of YouTube, Don't Tread on Us contest, okay? Front site. After you have the video uploaded, please send me the link, okay? You can go to lovegunsfreedom.com and you send me the link. And the link, of course, of the video. Just to let you know, the deadline of this contest, it is exactly December 31st, okay? Now, it's very important that you send this before that date. I will personally select the most creative video that is out there, okay? And it is not, for me, all the winners, by the way, every video is a winner. The fact that you take the time and you give me the honor to download one of my songs and use it for your video, it's already, for me, it's a great message. You know, we're sharing the message. Now, the winner is going to get a free front site membership. Yes, completely free. And that's it. How better can be than that? That's all I can say. Now, what I would like to remind you that you need to be an American citizen, or at least live in America, because if you live in Australia or somewhere else, I mean, what are you going to do with the front side membership? You can't even really afford to travel here every time. So unfortunately, I'm going to do this just for American residents, okay? And of course, remember something. If you win and you want to go to front side, you must pass a background check, okay? So otherwise you can't go. So if you are a felon or something else, you don't have access to guns, sorry, don't do that. Now, since we're talking about this, I would like to let you listen just the first few bars of the song. I don't want to play everything because we got other stuff to do, but at least this is the song you're going to find on YouTube or on my website, www.zanna.us, okay? And please, just start to download it and create the YouTube. By the way, if you want to perform the song as a cover, for example, I have some friends that I found out in Scotland. They're doing the acoustic version, and put on YouTube. That's great. You can pretty much be on the contest too. So here we go. Now we're going to play Don't Tread on Us for the Don't Tread on Us front site contest.
Don't tread on us, we're not afraid. You work for us, we're not your slaves. Don't tread on us, you crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. After a long train of abusive and dissipation, now we've lost our patience. Yeah, you're trying to kill our Constitution, to kill our pride. Now the wood is dry. Yeah. Don't tread on us, We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. You keep on pushing us into desperation. You'll only fuel our determination. Yeah, it's been way too long since the last time. 1776. Now we're done with your tricks. Don't tread on us. Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. Don't tread on us. Don't tread on us. Now it's payback time.
And that is Don't Tread on Us, music lyrics by myself, luca-zanna. And this was for the contest, so you don't get mistaken. It's the only Don't Tread on Us out there. Download the song, create your little YouTube, send it back to me, and I will select one lucky winner to win a $15,000, 15 and 3 zeros, front side membership, diamond membership, lifetime. Okay? And we can go train together. By the way, the first 20 videos that you send, I don't care if they're ugly or they're stupid, whatever, they're all great. I will give you also a free copy of one of my CDs, okay? So they're all winners, and, unfortunately, I cannot afford more than one. I wish I could, but I will afford one diamond membership at front site. Just make the video. That was pretty much the news for this part. Now, back to us. A little bit of love. I like coffee, by the way, and one thing about coffee that it really relaxes me. People normally take coffee because they want a rush. I don't need to drink coffee for the rush. I believe that coffee is a moment of peace, almost philosophical, maybe for people of other civilizations like the Indian people, like yogi or, they do tea or whatever. I do coffee. Espresso make me relax, but it must be a good coffee. I like organic coffee, and also I like coffee with good water. Now, the secret to make a good coffee. Normally, this time I do recipes, and I will do recipes back from the next show from my kitchen. We share good food, or at least what I like as food. Today, I would like to share a little bit the art how to make a coffee. All starts, first of all, with my opinion, with the coffee. If you like espresso, you can just get regular coffee. It's not going to work. So you must have, first of all, the good grinding, the good, type of texture, very fine, and you must have the real machine. Two different options. If you have the little mocha cafe machine, you can buy for about $25, $30, a good one on Amazon. The Italian espresso machine, the one is called the mocha. Get the one, but get it in steel. Don't get it in aluminum. Believe it or not, it's better quality for your health and also the flavor. So you get a good machine, get good coffee, get a good brand. If you can, try to get organic coffee. Unfortunately, coffee now is becoming the next part of the New World Order. They want to do also, they're already doing a GMO coffee, okay? And the pesticides that they spray on it, you have no idea. So try to get organic, good quality coffee. I'm not telling you where to get it, but I'm sure you can find it, okay? Once you find a coffee that you really like for texture and flavor, and you got the right machine, the most important thing you need is water. You cannot have good coffee unless you have good water. And I want to say water, I'm not talking about water that you just get out of the faucet, especially if you live in a city or a town, they fluoridate, or even just the chlorine. Forget about fluoride. Fluoride, you can taste it, but chlorine is terrible for the coffee. So you must have pure crystalline, almost like from the fountain, water. That is the final touch. And then, of course, put some love and enjoy it. Honestly, I like when I don't need to make the coffee myself. If I have a friend around me or anybody that cares about me, my mom, for example, make me a coffee. It tastes better. Trust me. If you make the coffee yourself, almost you lose 50% of the value of the coffee. I like to sit down and do nothing and wait for my coffee. I know, sound like a little Italian spoiled guy, and maybe I am when it comes down to these things. So anyway, that's pretty much the story. Now, the cell phone is, of course, ringing, and we're going to turn it off. Now, back to news. This was a little bit about the love part, coffee. We need to enjoy life, guys. It is not just about always being worried. We need to be worried, but also we want to be enjoying life with small little things. And as I said, a little coffee, a little dish of pasta, just looking at the stars, looking at the sky, appreciate what you have. It can make your day. Seriously, I learned that in my little life. Now, bad things, news that we should pay attention. A Walmart memo. There is a Walmart memo that pretty much we should be aware. A sensitive internal memo has been distributed to all Walmart store members, which urges stores to purge all chilled and fresh items in its dairy, meat, and produce departments. Essentially, the call has gone out to all stores to discount and purge all perishable ASAP. Walmart does not typically put out urgent and sensitive memos to their stores unless something major is brewing. This is not just a blue light special, okay? We know very well that Walmart has very close relationships with the Department of Homeland Security, okay? It's proven there are connections, especially with when you go buy stuff, all cameras, all the information they are recorded, and they work directly with the Department of Homeland Security. Now, why they're doing this, I have no idea. All I know, we should start to pay attention, though, because sometimes things are brewing, and we need to see exactly. We cannot ignore things, okay? So just to let you know, there are different reports now coming from Reuters. Walmart stores issue an urgent agenda memo to its store managers across the nations, blah, blah, blah. New York Times, same story. I mean, this is not just some conspiracy news coming out of my mouth. This is coming out from official mainstream media. So pay attention. Maybe, I don't know, maybe just a dry run. But something may happen. Let's not forget that the man in charge right now of this nation, at least what we think is in charge, Mr. President Obamacare, after these midterms elections, not because it's going to be any different, they are playing the same game, but still, there are some things he wants to accomplish, and maybe the other part, he cannot completely let it do it, like this amnesty by executive order. There are a lot of things that they may really try to do to us. And I believe that every one of us should know and learn the word false flag, because everything can happen. And Walmart, unfortunately, is becoming a very important part of our society. You like it or not, 80% of the people shops there. And it's going to be an important part also in case of an emergency. There are already plans out there in case there is an emergency. Walmart parking lot can pretty much be fenced and created like an area for vaccinations, forced vaccinations, or whatever food, redistribution of food, and emergency with FEMA. This is a fact. Google it up. It is not a conspiracy. Now, this is pretty much was the news I wanted to share. Now, I remind you also, if you want, you can call in 800-842-1340. And by the way, I would like to thank a lady with her husband. Her name is Rachel from Kingman. She gave me a nice book about coffee. And it is more than coffee. There are a lot of great recipes how to make coffee cakes and different things. And I really enjoy it, by the way. I'm already experimenting some things. Now, another important things I would like to talk about, it's about what's happening in our schools. I posted a few days ago, and I was very mad about probably a couple of days ago, something about a drill. They're doing these drills, unfortunately, for many years. It's not just now, but something's, it really hit me hard. They're doing drills in schools without the consent and the knowledge of parents, and more important, of the children, when there are like scenarios of active shooters. So there are these cops simulating they are the bad people and taking hostages an innocent little child that is not even aware that this is a game. They don't know. They're peeing in their pants. Seriously, literally. And with fake guns, they try to recreate the scenario to pretty much subdue the perpetrator. Now, this is wrong. It's wrong why? Because first of all, parents should be always informed of what's going on. More important, the child should not go through a trauma, psychological trauma, to be probably scarfed the rest of their life. And if you think this is not happening, just because it does not happen in Mojave County or wherever we are here, guess what? It's happening everywhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's happening also here. So, and I have a post on Facebook that I would like you to go. If you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Zanna Gianluca, is about a couple of days ago. And you can see the photo of these 4 police officers, or what is supposed to be officers, smiling. Some of them, they are smiling. While there is this other police officer dressed like a regular person, holding this innocent child, unaware, and holding a rifle at him. Okay? So, think about that was happening to your son or your daughter, making him completely freaked out. And this, by the way, from the Washington Post. Okay, this is not some sort of a conspiracy. It's happening. It's been happening in the last 10 years at least. So this is, for example, happened exactly in Florida. Police officers in Florida surprised students, teachers, and parents Thursday with an active shooter drill. And by active shooter drill, we mean that a Winter Haven Middle School went into lockdown as 2 armed police officers burst into the classrooms, guns drawn, leaving the unsuspecting children terrified and their parents furious. So we must have control, especially in small communities like this one, to, first of all, our school system and our police force. After all, it's supposed to work for the people, okay? And the city council and the mayor, they must pretty much be responsible if something happens like that. So this is very important. I believe that there are no small things, these are big things, because if you start to put the children in the state of fear and pretty much living like in some sort of a concentration camp where they're going to be scarfed and brainwashed, it's going to become the new jail, the new prison. The school system is becoming more and more like some sort of MK Ultra mind control place, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of good teachers out there. They try to do their best they can. And at the same time, I know the problem this is happening is coming down from the central government, from above, from the headquarters, okay? So this is very important. We got to think about that. Now, what I would like to say, I've been here doing this with you almost now 13 months, getting to 1 year, and this has been a very challenging experience for me, and also grateful. And I would like to tell you, life is, we never know what's going to happen. I have no idea. Every day I wake up, I don't have the arrogance to say I'm going to be there tomorrow. And I'm not saying anything bad. I hope to be around here as long as I can. All I know that anything can happen to any of us. Today we had the first hour, we had Michael Badnarik, still a young man. Of course, not a kid anymore, but, he went through situations of that experience very close twice. And all I say, let's be nice to each other because, we may not agree sometimes, that's fine. Let's respect each other. We can move on, do our stuff. We don't even need to see each other. By the end of the day, we're all going to be gone one day. Put that in perspective. Okay? And I also wrote a little poem that I think applies to this more and more. Think about it. First of all, the tyrants, always going to be tyrants in this world. Kings always going to be there. Now, let me tell you the poem, so I'll shut up. Kings, tyrants, and politicians come and go. The struggle for freedom is eternal. I would even consider this a poem. I would just have probably a reflection. And it's true. Think about it, guys. No matter who is in charge, if it's a human, they're always going to have the tendency, when they have power, to abuse it. It's very difficult to control their instinct, okay? Few people really have the type of pureness. But no matter if it's a local level, state level, national level, federal level, you give them a little power, they change. I see that in Mojave County. I see that around me, people that before the election, they used to be kind of different. That's fine. That's fine. Now, what I think about, no matter what, we always struggle for freedom. Humanity has been struggling for freedom since the beginning of times. No matter who was in charge, no matter which empire or which form of government. And it's fine. It's our duty to keep the fire of freedom alive. Sometimes in ages, they had a little better, sometimes worse. But most of the time, we always had to fight and struggle for it. That's pretty much the message I would like to say. And this is important because at the end of the day, if you think about the purpose of this life we have, we can, we eat, we wake up, we work, we do our things, try to make a buck, fine. But what is the purpose? Don't you think maybe there is also a purpose just to be judged maybe one day on the things that we could have done when we had a chance? And for me, it is not about politics. It's about good and evil, freedom or tyranny. That's pretty much where we're coming down. Now, let's go back to guns. I don't want to be too much sound like a philosopher or want to be a philosopher. Otherwise, people say, well, okay, what is all this going to? It's going to guns. Because at the end of the day, I believe if you're a good person, I believe that you want to defend freedom and defend good against evil. Yes, you can do that with empty hands. You can do even with a stick, because at the end of the day, you are the weapon. Your heart is the main weapon. Your brain is the main weapon. But a good gun doesn't hurt. Now, we have an FBI report confirms that crime fell while gun purchases soared in 2013. And, I don't really care, because at the end of the day, even if the numbers were wrong, I still have the right to own a gun. And I don't want to be judged by, created like I am guilty by association just because I own a gun and a criminal has a gun. I didn't do anything bad. So if you're innocent, I don't care if the majority of people, they're doing something wrong. Let's say, for example, there are like car accidents in the streets, and the cars accidents increased this year. Doesn't mean that I have no more the right to drive a car, because if I didn't do any accident, I shouldn't be penalized. But the good thing is also that we have now 2013 official records from the FBI, and this is, remember, it's under also the Obama administration, so trust me, if they could have cooked the numbers, they did already. But still, we have incredible numbers that with all these over 21 million background checks, and this is a lot for 1 year, we had one of the best numbers with crime reductions, okay? And this is an article you can get at Breitbart.com. So it's important to understand that a gun, it is not bad, it is not good, it is just a tool. Somebody is evil, can get a brick, a stone, even just a pencil, and pretty much do evil things with that. Okay? The gun, normally, you can do good things too. You can stop a crime, stop an evil act. That's the idea. So it's something to think about it. Now, very important, very, very important thing about the show. Next Sunday, I will broadcast the show from Arizona, because, I enjoy to come here. I think it's a great opportunity to come to the radio. At the same time, I like peace, and I don't like to travel very much, honestly, especially crossing the border here with California. But it's very exciting for me, especially when I have the feeling, because the radio, the studio, it's a magic place for me. Think about it. This is live. This is not just something happening before. It's live, and we're sharing the same moment together right now. So now, something I would like to share also with you. It's about something very important, about what's going to happen next Sunday. I have a couple of special guests that we're going to talk about something very important that you shouldn't miss, okay? And let's not forget that we are right now pretty much close to Christmas, and every Christmas, every end of the year, when the government and when the Congress in recession and they are pretty much on vacation, always bad things happen. Let's not forget the Federal Reserve Act, okay? 1913, during Christmas. Every type of piece of legislation they want to slam through, or tyrannical act, like for example the Obamacare, was Christmas, always during that time. So be careful and be aware, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that something is pretty much brewing. I see the signs. We need to analyze the different things, especially when it comes down to, these executive orders for the amnesty. And let me tell you something. The amnesty, it is not bad just because it's an amnesty, because this is going to be, first of all, a destruction of the rule of law, as pretty much spitting on the face of millions of legal immigrants like myself, that we came here and we try to do things the right way. And more important, let me tell you, these people, they're going to be voting pretty soon. If they're going to become legals, they're going to be having access to also all the system, and not just the welfare system that is pretty much serious, because our American people, they don't have enough resources right now. We can't even take care of them. They're going to be able to vote, and they're going to be used as pawns against this republic, or whatever is left of this republic. Now, the last few minutes of the show, I would like to talk about something that I'm working on. It's a handbook. I'm writing a book pretty much about handgun training. As I said, I'm not an instructor, but I'm a professional student when it comes down to firearms. I also am a distinguished graduate at Frontside, Nevada in handgun. And I really enjoy it, enjoy the challenge, enjoy to learn. Today I would like to start to share with you some very important information about this book, even practical things, okay? Because I would like to start, for example, give it a chance. This book is going to be available for download initially for just 99 cents. So can't get really wrong with that. And it's all my experience, the last few years' experience, learning about front sight. More important, how to use a firearm like a handgun in a responsible, safe way, and also effective way. Now, you will see this, I'll let you know as the book is almost done. But let me start first of all with a little bit of information I would like to give you, okay? For example, let's talk a little bit about the basic situation, how to use a gun, the 3 secrets, how to shoot straight. Many of you maybe already know, I already know this stuff, but I'm trying to reach people that they don't know. There are 3 secrets. They are not really secrets anyway after you know them. Let's start first of all, the first thing is called sight alignment. So no matter which gun, if it's a long gun or a short gun like a handgun, you must understand the concept that there are 2 sights, the rear sight and the front sight. So you want to put the sight, the front sight, aligned exactly with the rear sight. That's very important. Every different type of sight system, you will see that different way, but you want to be sure that the front sight is completely centered with the rear sight. That's important. Now, once you got that, the first thing, you must acquire a sight picture. Sight picture means that you want to position the front sight exactly where you want to hit the target. And that's going to be a visualization also of that sight picture. So that's very important. Now, let's not forget the most important thing you have, it is also the sight picture and focusing on the front sight. I consider focusing on the front sight like something that is part of secret number 2, okay? Why you want to focus just on the front sight? Because let's say you have the target, then you have your front sight and your rear sight. There is no way you're going to be able to pretty much do everything at the same time. Your eyes can focus only in one point, okay? So that's very important. So you focus always on the front sight. Secret number 3, you have to pretty much squeeze the trigger. It's called trigger control in the right way. No matter which gun you have, you must put pressure on the finger, squeezing the trigger, almost like by surprise. That means you want to push, and it's going to break pretty much the shot almost in a surprise way. That's very important, so you do not anticipate. Because normally the tendency when you anticipate the recoil, you're going to start to move the gun and push it down. So let's recap. You can do this, by the way, without ammo. That's the best way to start to train yourself. Dry practice. We talked about this last shows, and I'm not going to spend now any time, but get a gun, no ammo in your house, in your room, and start to do this. Put the target on the wall, Be sure there is nothing behind the wall, no ammo on you. Be sure the gun is empty. Start with the front sight, pretty much line up with the rear sight, okay? Sight alignment. Then you want, of course, you have focusing on the front sight. Then you want to have create this, more important, this sight picture. And then you start to dry practicing to squeeze the trigger in a very way that is by surprise, that you see that the gun doesn't move. That's very, very important. Now, what I want to say, if you want to go more information about gun training, that is pretty much my humble opinion. As I said, I'm not an instructor, and don't get me as, I am responsible for what I say. I just share what I know. You can go to my website, lovegunsfreedom.com. I also upload in our section with videos that you can see better, for example, all the different things I'm talking about. We got a few more minutes. I would like to remind you, first of all, you can listen to the show replay tonight on lovegunsfreedom.com and also on Guerrilla Media Network. And I really want to thank again Pete Santilli for giving me the opportunity to pretty much widen my audience to have more people. And I see internet is getting more and more interesting because, let me tell you, radio stations, they're great, but you still have somehow control of the FCC, of the government. Internet, of course, they'll try working very hard, especially now Obama with this net neutrality. But meanwhile, we still have it. It's free. We use it as much as we can. And I see that the audience is increasing by really thousands every month, and I'm very excited about it. So please be in touch. Also, if you have any other special guest you want to suggest, go to lovegunsfreedom.com and also send an email and suggestions. I'm going to have next week a very important part. If you believe in guns and freedom, we must understand the importance of ammunition. I found a company in America, out of Idaho. They do incredible ammunitions for incredible prices. They are mostly remanufactured ammunitions, and that means they use like components that have been already shot once, like for example brass. But I'm telling you, you can get prices that, first of all, the product is great. I've been shooting myself. I ordered some 40 caliber for my Glocks, and looks like brand new stuff for the price of or nothing. For example, I bought 9mm for a full metal jacket for about $10 or $9.50 and free shipping with the offer. And then they were doing 40 caliber was about more than $11, $10.50, something like that. For 40 calibers, brass and just amazing stuff. So that's pretty much what I'd like to say to you guys. Stay tuned. Don't forget also to go to guerrillamedianetwork.com exactly tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. They will replay the show. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much. This is luca-zanna going off the air.